Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. Sulman Rahim here, Messenger of the Covenant, breaker of the seven seals. Brothers and sisters, the Holocaust, the Holocaust, Holocaust, Holocaust. Brothers and sisters, up to now, most of you didn't even know anything about it. And that's sad. Most of our people have no idea of what occurred the last 20 years. Many don't even know how we got here and don't even care. Many don't care about the history. They don't know, they don't care. They're not being taught it. They should not be taught in the schools. There's a very pronounced effort to make sure it never gets taught in schools, called the critical race theory. See, they undermine it right there. I call it a theory. Theory. What happened to us was theory. They can get away with it because most of you don't even know what happened at all. So calling it theory is not a downgrade. It's upgrade. So the theory is better than no knowledge at all. And I look around and I see it's selling like hotcakes because they've done their job very well. Negro butts. You don't want to admit it, but that's what you are, brothers and sisters. You've been transformed into Negro butts, and many of you come to like it. We're told about that in scriptures, about the brass serpent. That's you. Afraid of the little serpents. We start worshiping the big serpent, the brass serpent on the cross. I mean, it don't take a lot of brain power to figure that one out. See? That's a white Jew on the cross. And you was worshiping it in order to get the little serpents off of your back. I'm a Christian. So you think that's going to save you? They'll leave you alone. Holocaust, brothers and sisters. Holocaust. That's what it was. That's what it is. Slavery was just the economic side of it. Most of you don't care anyway. You're going to care in a minute. It'll become very real to you in a minute. But you say, oh, it's slavery. What are you talking about, slavery? Yeah, no. That's the economic side. Slavery doesn't include what you see in that picture there. Rape, murder, kidnapping, castration, torture, 24/7, 365, 20 years. So some estimates of 200 million of us. No, brothers and sisters. We're going to keep on reminding you the Holocaust, not theory. Actually what happened. We're going to move in our presentation here, brothers and sisters. We're going to talk about the Battle for the Planet, Part 4. Well, it's serious because there's a lot to say about it. A lot to say about it. First of all, they separated you from your creation. You had no knowledge of self, no knowledge of your past, and sure have no knowledge of history, future. They've done a complete job on you. The battle for the planet, but you don't know it. You are the target. You are the target. Try to explain this. I'll continue to explain it because it's going to become very real to you in a minute. Very real to you in a minute. That's the purpose of all of this. Because they caught you sleeping, so to speak. They want to be rid of you. They want the creation for themselves. That's what's at stake. And it's still some game. Either you win or you lose. There's no in between. There's no runner-ups. It's for all the marbles. There's no runner-ups here, brothers and sisters. You might think so. Why do you think they call different ethnic groups race? Because it is a race. Race to the finish line. And only those that cross the finish line, once you cross the finish line, everything on the other side of the finish line is wiped out. But you understand, oh, you just talk, okay. Years of history to say I'm 100% right. They tell you, he who doesn't study history or learn history is doomed to repeat it. They're telling you. They will enslave your ass all over again if it came to that. They fell down on their luck again. Look what they're doing to you when they have everything. They don't want you to have anything. When the envier envies, they don't want you to have anything. And they're so blatant with it. And you're so, the word naive, I mean, you're beyond naive. You see it right before your eyes, and some of you so paralyzed that even if you see it, you refuse to see it. You just refuse to see it. Even if it's right in front of your eyes, you still refuse to see it. Oh, and that's something else. That can't be what I'm seeing. I can't believe my lying eyes. Like the sister said, connect the dots. You can't connect the dots because you don't even see the dots to connect. You have to see the dots to connect them. You don't even see them. And we're trying to explain to you what these dots are, but you don't want to hear it. But you're going to hear it because we're not blaming you for the condition you are in. No, we're not blaming you for that. But you can take some responsibility for getting out of this situation. In other words, if someone throw you in a shithole, right? Nobody can blame you for being in a shithole, but you take some responsibility for getting out of it. And some of you wallowing in it. You're wallowing in the shithole and you don't even want to come out. You don't think about coming out. Or you don't think there's no out. And that's what got people like Farrakhan. He's out, he's going all out of his way to convince you there's no out. There is no out. That's his job. He's not telling you anything that's positive for you. He said, well, the only positive thing he claims he's telling you that one day you're going to inherit America. One day. Not while he's around. Could be 100, 2, 3, 5 years in the future. One day you're going to inherit America. You know you're going to inherit it anytime soon. How are you going to get it? That's the only thing he's telling you. But he's not telling you about any promised land. He's not making you wealthy because he's taking all your wealth from you. How do you become so wealthy? Just being a minister. The Nation of Islam has no value at all. You look up wealth of the Nation of Islam is zero, but he's over $7 million. How did that happen? How did that happen? The signs of him is very clear. The signs about him is very clear. There's no mistake. That's why the only people following him right now are the agents demons. These are demons, follows the devil. Just check it out. All he said, you can just check out yourself. Do a little analysis. Follow the devil. So you're going to tell me the devil is our savior? If you have any connection to Elijah Muhammad at all? So you got the demons, the agents. They're following him. And the idiots, the dummies, the liars, they're following him. Anyone that got two meaningful brain cells they can rub together, they ain't following him. No way. Because if you move all that BS he's talking about from the heart zone to the mental zone, it wouldn't fly. It does nothing. None of it adds up. None of it. It goes against scripture. It goes against everything Elijah Muhammad talked about. They come. Oh, he's representing Elijah Muhammad. Is he? It's easy. All you got to do is look and see what Elijah Muhammad said about these things. He says totally opposite. He says his whole purpose was to come here to get prepared to go home. But Farrakhan said, we're not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere. This whole thing is telling you to take all hope from you and take all the money he can from you. He don't care about you. He ain't done anything. He hasn't done anything for you but get out of lip service. That's why I call him the mouth. He's overcome you with his mouth. Whom the Lord will consume with the spirit of his mouth and destroy with the brightness of his coming. That's happening right now. He's being consumed because his so-called followers are leaving him in droves. Because see, they never had anybody that could contest that BS he was talking about. Contest it. See, I was with Elijah Muhammad from 1775. I know 150% of what Farrakhan says is total lies, total bullshit. And all the clowns would mess with black men. They wouldn't mess with Elijah Muhammad. No, they're not. We close the door on them. They had a chance. They ain't with Elijah Muhammad. They around Mr. Black, have no idea what it's saying. They know they have no idea what it's saying. That shows that they out there to rip you off. They got stars in their eyes. They want to be the big man like Elijah. See? Because most of them don't believe in Elijah anyway. The idiots, stupid people who figure, hey, man, it worked for him, it worked for me. They have no idea. Oh, yeah, Elijah Muhammad, mess with black man is it. And the crime's it, and this is it, and it. It's all bullshit. A little bit of thought will tell you that's all lies. 1% lies. No ifs and buts about it. Battle for the planet. For 76 trillion years you've been building, you expand the universe, everything out there you put out there. And you make galaxies so you have space lanes travel through. Speed of thought, 24 billion miles per second, even faster. So all dependent upon the computer that we use. That's no story there. See, the thing is that the messenger said a lot of things because he was a messenger, he wasn't a god. He said the way he writes history is like, I'm paraphrasing, they see like a ant or a roach, something go up a wall and come down, if it doesn't come down, where and it makes no sense, right? But people want an explanation. They didn't say there was some vision somewhere here because couldn't trust that. See, that was the age before computers. He didn't know anything about the computers. So he spoke about it in a way you could think, in a way, right, that the knowledge that was available at the time. It's like nuclear power. He didn't have any idea about that. That's why no one could figure those lessons. That's why Muhammad left, because he was talking about nuclear power in it, about atomic bombs in it. I can prove it. But so Elijah Muhammad said many things. We're not taking anything from Elijah Muhammad, one of the greatest men ever lived. The Bible tells you that. But said even least in the kingdom of heaven be greater than him. They worshiping him. So worship him, go on. We don't care. Because see, the point is, you don't understand any of this. And we don't want you to understand it. See, we got this what's the word I want to use? Well, anyway, the bottom line, the word is get rid of you, get rid of your idea, right? That we out here trying to convince you. Anybody knows work me? No, I'm not trying to convince anybody. I'm not trying to convince anybody, right? I shake too often to shake people out of here. Because if I was just looking for followers, I would have had a lot by now. 30 years. I shake them out because they got to be 100%. I really have one soldier that's 100%. I have 1,000 that's weak, nervous, anxious, not committed. But they'll take everybody down. It just took one committed person to take out Goliath and his whole army. One committed person. See? But everybody else cowering in the back. Saul's whole army is cowering in the back against Goliath's force. And one person stepped forward, their heart, David, took Goliath down, took his whole army down. Goliath is false Israel, not Gog and Magog. That's another story too. See, I hit on that for a second because it's kind of interesting. You have to understand Angel Key for this. Angel Key, you got the America is one, right? Britain is another one. Russia is another one, and EU, which is West Africa, and West Europe, right, is the other one. That's four, and each one is covered. Each one of those are four wings of the eagle. You got 6 wings. There's 4 of them. 4 wings of it. It said they was covering other nations. They were covering the other nations. So each of the other nations, right, they had 6 wings too. America was covering us. See? Britain was covering Asia. See? Russia was covering Orient. And EU was covering Africa. Each one had 6 wings. Those are four the creatures that we see in the angel. See, that's what it is. Because what it's telling you is that when you study about Goliath, he had 4 brothers. Each one had 6 fingers. That's what it's telling you. Those that know about the angel, they can appreciate that. In other words, he says America, Britain, Gog and Magog, Russia, Eastern Europe, and Western Europe, right? Those are 4 brothers of Goliath. And Goliath represents Satan, the Antichrist, false Israel. And each was covering the other creatures, right? These 3 of them. And each one had 6 wings. So that's why Goliath each brother had 6 wings. And he had 6 wings too. I mean, 6 fingers. 6 fingers. What does that mean? See, the scripture is beautiful, but you don't understand. We have no idea. And they run around talking about this, that, they have no idea. Farrakhan doesn't know scripture. He's Eric. Fool Eric calls him Eric Muhammad. He's a fool. He got a message of black man. He got the crime. I don't even waste. I don't know why he's speaking about these people, because we don't care about them. We don't care about them. They had their chance. Elijah raised up the Levites, and they failed. They fell in Farrakhan's spell, the swine song, and failed their mission. The mission was to prepare the way for the mission of the covenant. But see, we spent 76 trillion years building all of this. Then come is this by happenstance. 76 trillion years. Who built all this? 76 trillion years. And so it comes to the point where we at our lowest energy level, where the universe expands, or energy that used to be here is out there. So the lowest energy levels, right? And so at that time, that's when all the nations stood up. This is our chance. We can take all of it. All that work that they did to prepare all this here, we can take it from them. We can be the gods. That's what Lucifer said. Lucifer is not Satan. Lucifer is one of the major scientists. He's a scientist, one of the minor scientists. He says, I'll make my throne I'll set my throne on the far west, far east, or far west, rather, right? Far north. And I'll be like the Most High. He was cast down, as was Satan. Battle for the planet, brothers and sisters. You have no idea what's at stake. But you're rising slowly. There's going to be a big burst in a minute. The war is about to break. Will nature be born in a day? Must you understand, brothers and sisters? Because what you understand now and what you will understand is like, it's more than the difference between east and west, night and day. Because when you get your original mind back, it's really like a dream, like Elijah Muhammad used to say. You won't be able to even remember this because it'd be like it was a vision. So you think this life that you think you have right here, you think it was like a dream that you had, because you ain't gonna find any reference to it in where we're going into. You don't understand how your mind works. You don't understand what a mind is. As most you wouldn't be able to tell what a mind is. You don't understand how it works. The computer technology, they copy our creation. As Elijah Muhammad used to tell you that, they copy our creation. They can't create anything. They haven't created anything but a lot of trouble. They can't create anything. So your mind is your software. Familiar with software? Some of you have some idea about software. The Windows is software, right? You buy your computer, it doesn't do anything until you put Windows on it, right? If you got a Windows computer, you got a Mac, and it's different, right? But still it needs software. That's operating system. Two different things. The operating system is your mind, but the hardware is your brain. Hardware is your brain. And you come with that. You don't come with your software. You come with your wisdom built in. Most of you never get in touch with it because it's never brought out. You've been taught to suppress your wisdom. All you have is a degree of wisdom in certain areas. When you have a certain talent, they call it talent. They call that talent. Every one of you have a talent in certain areas. The Quran tells you that. The Bible tells you also. Every one of you, but most of you live and die would never ever find out what that is. Because you've been told to neglect your vision, neglect yourself, to self-destruct, but gloom on to master's vision. See? To neglect yourself, destroy yourself, and then the wisdom that you have embedded in you, that you're born with, never realize it. That was like a strange little bird, they say. I mean, I grew up basically an orphan. Mother passed when I was 9, my father 5 years later, 14. I was on my own, literally on my own. My father was old school. So without going into all the details, right, after he left, I wasn't afraid of anything, because the only thing I was ever been afraid of in my life was that man. The one thing I knew If I got to go through this life, I have no idea what this life is about, right? Heaven and hell, all that stuff. You've been bothered with that stuff as you're a child. How you get through all that stuff? Her mother was a down-hard Baptist. I mean, she was, father, he was, he ended up converting just before he passed. It's under Elijah Muhammad. Mother was, she was a die-hard Baptist. You know all this stuff. But something about me told me, if I got to go through this, two things I got to do. First of all, I got to use my brain. Because no matter what happens, if there's any kind of justice in this world, right, then if there's a judgment or whatever, I think the first thing they asked me, did you use your brain to try to figure this out? You got your brain to try to use it? Or you let somebody else tell you? See, most people say up there, oh man, pastor told me. Well, pastor ain't going to be the one that's going to suffer your ass. He ain't the one that's going to take your pain. You the one. So if you had your brain and use it, that's on you. The other thing I knew was I was going to be me no matter what. No matter what, I was going to be me, whoever I am, I was going to be me. I was going to find who I was. Until I found who I was going to be what I thought I was. I wasn't going to be what everybody wanted me to be. Because it made sense to me, if I was going to find happiness in this world, I'm going to be happy as being myself. How are you going to be happy being somebody else? How is that possible? Those two things, I just, right? I took the Bible as my guidance. Those are three things all together. Those three things like that was my foundation. I wrote with it. And it served me well. Because the wisdom that was in me, I bore it out. Because I never neglected it. I didn't suppress it. Because that's what slave masters tell you to do. The demons tell you to suppress it. No, don't do it that way. Like Farrakhan out there. Think analytical. Why do you want to think analytical when your nature is spatial? They're suppressing your own abilities. Because if you start thinking like somebody else, you're going to be weaker than them. If you're right-handed, but you're going to go left-handed because everybody's left-handed, you're going to be weaker than them. Because they're naturally left-handed, but you had a disadvantage because you're naturally right-handed, but you're trying to be like them. And the devils, believe me, you don't have to believe me, what's up to you. The devils only like you when you being like them. They don't like if you be yourself, and you know it. If you start being yourself, or try to be yourself, because most of you don't know what yourself is, but if you try to be other than they want you to be, they're not going to like you, and you know it. So you got to be like them in order to get along with them, be friends with them, and everything else. That shows you they don't care about you. If they care something about you, they respect you for who you are. They don't respect who you are. They respect you for being them. So they respect themselves, but they want you to be like them. And you buy it. They want you to be like them, and you buy it. And so therefore you're not happy, you're suffering, all these different things with them. But yeah, you're friends with them though. You're buddy with them. But you're never going to be happy. Because most of it is fear. You don't want them to be upset with you. They got you coming and going. So you're never going to find paradise like that. You're never going to find with Farrakhan. You're never find these people. Because you got to be like them. You got to be other than yourself. They got all these forces coming down on you. How are you going to overcome them? It's almost impossible. I mean, for me to overcome what I did overcome, it was, I look back in the past, I said, I couldn't believe myself. Because I held those three things I just told you, and it was not easy. Yeah, I'm a 17-year-old kid in the military, and they coming down on me, and I'll be myself. I didn't even let the military tell me what to do. I was myself the whole time I was in there. Man, you got. When I read in the Bible that this person Elijah was around, I walked out. I didn't say goodbye, no, I just walked out. They were looking for me. I didn't give a damn. But that's why I saw it and I went after it. And I found Elijah. I didn't know anything about Elijah Muhammad. I'm newspaper, none of that stuff. I said, Peter, I didn't know anything about any of that. I left in '66 just before all that riot stuff happened. I didn't know about Martin Luther King, know about any of that stuff, none of it. Malcolm X, none of it. Never read Muhammad Street newspaper, anything. I'd been at Temple one time. My father took me there. I was a church, and I didn't know what it was. I was about 12 years old. I think that's when he was converting because he passed it when I was 14, a year and a half later. I've had people all my life. The only one that would cook a truck was my father. I feared that man. And his control was positive in a way because the things he told me, the things he did, and the way he conducted himself, right? He controlled me to get me to be myself. I give you, for instance, one time we was down in North Carolina, because that's my parents, my mother's people come from. These guys, like, because I say diehard Christians, down there Christmas, stuff like that there. My father used to drive us down. And one time, they did an old shack. If you go to drive to North Carolina, these old shacks and stuff, then that's like a barn or something. No, that was the house slaves lived in. I don't like to use the word slave because we was more than slaves, hard costs. But and the master, they were sharecropping from, right? He was like across the street, nice little house. Like all the white folks' house, right, was all nice. Like a little barn, right? Right. It was an eyesore. No running water, anything. They run across the street over there, and they had to go through the back. And this is like, what? Had to be around about 7, I guess, something like that. Would that be a 56, something like that? Mother was still around. And they run across the street over there. They had to go through the back and run down to the back. But the master, he has like some garden, something back there, was growing tomatoes and stuff. They're going to knock the door, and they ain't say master, but they said something very, very close. It sounds pretty much like that to me. But they get some tomatoes out of this. And so I guess he said yes. It's been a long time ago. I remember I was about 7 years old. So in a way, after they got right, we was getting ready to go back. We was in the back of the house. We had to go back to the front of the house and then cross the road, right? So when I would start back towards the edge of the house, to go to the front, that's my father standing there. So my cousin, they kept on going. My father grabbed me. He said, "Boy, if I ever kept you talking, ask my stuff, these white people like they was doing, I'd kill you myself." That's where he was coming from. I'll never forget that. So he would kick my ass just about every day, and twice on Sunday, I think. And I hated it during that time. And after he passed, I thought about it, and I said, "Man, I'm glad he did it." But I was never fear of anything after that. Nothing, zero. He made a man out of me, plus, right? He set me on the path, self-development, due for self, love of self, and not fear of devils. Never feared them ever. I can understand with the military because all other, especially most from the South, they was all afraid of the devil. I couldn't understand. I could not understand. I didn't know it was devils then. I knew there was a problem. Let's give an example there. But there's a battle for the planet. Like I said, 76 trillion years after, then we came to the point of energy deprivation because we don't have enough energy to maintain ourselves, so we fell. We fell because we could not maintain our society, our nation. But all this was in planning. Because see, we take nothing is bad, like the Bible says, nothing, all things are good with those, right? But the spirit, I think, is something that effect. Because all things are good. Because we make everything good. Because we take advantage of everything. We take everything and use it. We take shit and make fertilizer out of it. We turn shit into gold. They turn gold into shit. So we say, okay, we got to go through this period Huge deprivation. So how are we going to make the best of it? Well, how do we want to come out of this thing? And so Dr. Shabazz, he started planning. Dr. Yaqub planned too. He's part of it. And Elijah Muhammad, to my knowledge, never said anything that Dr. Yaqub was evil. He's evil scientist. That's not what I heard Elijah Muhammad say. What he did was a positive thing if you look at it from the right perspective. So somebody's giving you dirty water, man. He give me dirty water, man. He's evil. But what if finds you don't have any water? And he said, man, I'm glad he gave me that dirty water. But that's better than no water. That's why he made Adam. Because a bad civilization is better than no civilization. Because we can produce a civilization at that time. It was weak, energy deficient. He wasn't, because he was built weak. He didn't require as much energy we did. But he could manifest power. We could not. We was losing power by the time 600 years ago. We lost all power. So, what did we do? We produced him, but that gave us a chance to increase our creativity. I talked to Dr. Yaqub and Dr. Shabazz. They had two different approaches. One emphasized the dominant, and one emphasized the recessive. The point now, we are approximately 90% spatial, but the spatial side of the brain is the creative side. It was ambidextrous before. Now we increase our creative power dramatically. And then we created technical power because they got others. That's what Dr. Yaqub, the technical power dramatically. So they're 90% technical. But no, they're 100% technical. That's the problem with them. That's why Muhammad and his angels, they're 90% technical. That's the ones we want. But we had to communicate with each other. That's why we 90% spatial with 10% analytical. And they 90% analytical with 10% spatial. So we can communicate with each other. Like the male and the female. The male is 90% male, 10% female. Female is 90% female and 10% male, so we can communicate with each other. They have a frame of reference. So that came out of it. So we're going back into, because it says, when it tells the universe is groaning, bringing forth this new nation. It's going to be greater than any nation ever. Because now you got the creativity power. See, we went into this, that creativity of 50-50. See? Ambidextrous. So now we boosted up to 90%, from 50 to 90%. That's a dramatic increase. You have no idea what that creativity is going to do for us. It's like the male and the female, the gender war. Before was like they call it hermaphrodite. That's a loose term. Then we said the male separated into two beings, because we used to be one being. But now you had the strip, because before it was like being had 50% beauty and 50% strength. Then you separate it, and now you increase the beauty to 90%, from 50% to 90%. So the female, she's much beautiful than that original creature, because he was 50%, but she's 90%. And then the male was 50% stronger. He went from 50% strong strength to 90%. So much stronger than that. So now you have that power. You have that kind of, you have greater beauty and greater strength. That's how we do things. But the other thing is, and then we have a group that's still ambidextrous. They work in between. That's why if you study the arc and the angel, you see why it's like that. So we got one group that's highly technical. That's at the top. We got a group that's highly analytical. Highly spatial, creative. That's at the top. That's elected at the top. If you understand the angel, you understand the angel keyword. And the next group is highly technical, highly analytical. That's Farad and his angels. He's on the same level. Under them is ambidextrous. That's the Levites, right? There's communicate between both of us. Because we're going to build a kingdom that's much brighter than anything you see out there right now. But then, remember the 100% analytical? See, they're also the fire that's going to purify our nation. See, because they're like a magnet. They're like fire. Because we put gold in the fire, so right, come on. We purify, we test it in the furnace of affliction. That means you understand the scripture unless you understand the key. To purify us. That said, the measure of the covenant purifies the gold and the silver. So we go back in perfect beings. We're perfect now. We're perfect for this. See, you got to understand everything in the universe is perfect. There's nothing imperfect. Even the devils, they're perfect. They're perfect devils. Everything is perfect. Everything we do is perfect. It's imperfect because your understanding of it. You haven't failed to understand of it, but everything is perfect. So they're perfect for this time and place. But they won't be perfect for next, so they have to go. Because everything we make is perfect. Because we build a perfect kingdom, so everything has to be perfection. So those, the weak ones of us, that calling process or whatever, see, they're either being burned off, because the furnace, he's so hot. A lot of them burned off through our travails, through the Holocaust. And a lot of them burn off because they're like magnets, because the devil's attracting them. And that's why we're talking about this gravitational vortex. See? Because that's what we wanted. The devil's produced a gravitational vortex. And if you can't overcome it, then you lost. We don't want you. But you got to overcome that. It's a test. See, if you can overcome it, then you lost. You can't make them sit here after. We don't want you there. But you just be a trouble problem man. You'll be happy anyway. All these things serve a purpose. Even these wars and stuff that's about to happen. All these things serves a purpose, but you don't understand that purpose because your mind is not there. It's like you don't understand you can control of weather. Well, I be careful when I say control weather because we control the weather. We just don't have the knowledge that we control it. So it's hard because we actually control it. So we causing all this stuff to happen. So in that sense, we're controlling it. We wouldn't have the wisdom to know that we are controlling it, right? And it's hard but we are controlling it, right? See, but we don't have the wisdom to understand that we are controlling it, like that, and to be more detailed, to be more specific, like on an individual level. But we're controlling it. We always have, because it's all pressure. But you don't understand that how reality is pressure. Most people don't understand that. Never heard that before. Because we're all interconnected. You don't understand that one either. Because pressure is interconnected. That means we all have equal force. That means the female is just equal to the male. See? But you don't understand that. Well, the crown was built by a minor angel, a minor scientist, Gabriel. He doesn't have 360 degrees. He told from his standpoint. That's why it says the God had to come in the end to make it all clear. Because the knowledge is your mind, which is the mind, which is the scripture, which is the AL-INJIL, or the so-called revelation, that's your mind, right? It says it was sealed down, protected, and only one person, the 25th scientist, could break it. It said, who else is he? Because no one else could do it. Not even Master Muhammad couldn't do it. He never claimed to do it. No one else could do it but him. Restore your mind back to you. So when you talk about Elijah Muhammad, he wasn't a god. So he taught from a historic point. He said a lot of things that didn't come to pass, and Ishmael would try to say, well, you don't come to pass. But he said, Armageddon would take place in the 70s. That's one thing I do remember. My father took me to that temple. Because the minister, whoever was the minister, it wasn't Mr. James Abbas. Because when I did come in, it wasn't. He looked like the person I saw. He was a young brother. the gap in his teeth and everything. I don't know what his name was. But he said, right, what I'm getting will take place in the 1970s. They're teaching. I'm not taking anything away from Elijah Muhammad. From Muhammad's not 25th scientist. Because 25th, the whole idea of 25th scientist, 25th is that he has 360 degrees. All other scientists have some varying degrees, but they don't have 360. And matter of fact, Muhammad told you that he had to be taught what he was given, and his father had to go get from other scientists. That means he wasn't 360 degrees. Now, Muhammad said he's a made God. That's why they went off Sunday, try to, oh man, no, he's the one. First of all, they've been talking about the originator, but now all of a sudden, we don't pay attention to those clowns. But they in defense mode. Because they're on the track. They're being consumed, about to be destroyed. So your mind has to be restored to you, but 360 degrees, because you're going to return to God. You're going to return to God. Left out angels to return to God. But Gabriel was a scientist, but he wasn't. He had 360 degrees. So the Quran, right, is on his level of knowledge. It only had enough power in it to put down Europeans for 1,000 years. In the Dark Age, read chapter 20. That's what it's talking about. And now it has no power anymore. They say, oh, no, well, it hasn't had any power the last 500 years. But then just 360 degrees. It tells you that right there. Because 22 chapters divided by 7, which is pi, 3.14. That's 360 degrees, a circle. So you're going to get that, brothers and sisters. Because many of you are ready. You just need to be, pulled out first certified. You don't even know you're ready yet. Because they made you Negro butts. Negro butts. It took 64 years to produce that. 64 years. From 1555 to 1619. First one comes rolling off the assembly line, Negro butts. Program for self-destruction. Obey master without question, not to ask any questions, not to think about anything. Do what master told you to do. You've been programmed to do that. And that's why a lot of you walking around like that. But your nature's intact. It's just suppressed. And we're about to release it. Because what's suppressing it, the headwind, that suppression of nature, and that's why Muhammad's getting ready to take it out. Abomination of desolation. Take it out. You take it out, all of a sudden, right? Your nature's going to come to the fore. And you're going to find out who you really are and how powerful you are. And this world will be in shatters when it happens. You're going to turn this world upside down. Inside out. I said, you're going to turn this world upside down, inside out. They say you're going to see things, wonders you never saw before. Why? Why are you going to see all these wonders now? It's not a mystery God doing it. Because you have all this power, you just don't know it. It's been suppressed. But they couldn't suppress for so long. They want to suppress for 600 years. They couldn't suppress for so long because they don't have that much power themselves. They're losing power. And now you're starting to gain power. But they're trying to keep you from gaining your power. Because what is power? Power is disciplined energy. And they're trying to get you, right, to sell off your energy. I mean, how you invest in your energy is like money. How are you investing your money? What you doing with it? See? How are you spending your energy? How are you spending your energy? Are you wasting it? Running around following Jay-Z and all these people and hanging out and drinking and smoking and vaping and all that kind of stuff. Is that what you're doing? That's why you have no power. That's why they're trying to keep you. Because they only control you as long as they have more power than you. And their power is fading for a lot of reasons. Primarily the reason because you see what's happening right now. The guys that was given so-called Old Testament, New Testament too, to some degree, they ain't following any of that anymore. And that's what turned their energy into power, discipline. They walked away from all of that. They walked away from it 1,500 years ago, which caused them to end up in the Dark Age for 1,000 years. It's Catholicism, idolatry, and all that kind of stuff. But now, in the case now, see, they understand what's at stake and they're in trouble. All the nations are in trouble. Because you're rising. When you understand pressure, your rise is causing dramatic what I want to use, dramatic forces, extreme forces. Your rise is I like the word I want to use, I can't think of right now. But dramatic changes in the universe, on the earth particularly, because it's pressure. And you're causing a pressure differential. And you understand all the pressure on the planet is based on your mind, your thoughts, because you create all this. And thoughts are pressure. Thoughts are pressure. But you understand that, because pressure is force. And nothing moves without force. How you move your hand, how you move your eyes, how you move your tongue. It takes energy to do that. But it takes force to do it. But nothing moves without force. And you don't understand how powerful you are. This whole environment responds to you. All the weather and everything responds to you. And then hereafter, we won't have any weather problem. We won't have a pressure differential. That's why we're getting rid of all, they call it culling, that's another word for it. All the weak-minded. Like I said, I was saying earlier, right, that this gravitational vortex is like a magnet. First of all, you can't overcome it. Then you got this magnetic force that they're applying because they like a magnet to you. So the weak-minded is blowing on to them. Oh, they love the white folks. I'm not talking about the demons. I'm talking about weak-minded people. But they can't get past their magnetic force. Everybody has magnetic force. And they can't get past theirs. So we don't want them. And you can't do anything. You can't pull them away from it. Because you pull them away from it, they're going to snap right back to it. You pull a magnet away, right, and you let it go, it's going to snap back. We're not going to waste time doing that. That's where they see it. They're weak-minded, and they see it that way. And nothing you can say is going to change that. If you bring them to the hereafter with you, they're still going to have that attraction. They're going to bring that into existence again, if they can. And they would, if they had, and everybody would have a lot of power in the hereafter. See? The weakest person, the weakest minded person, we're having a weak minded person, but I'm saying the weakest minded person, why isn't the greatest scientists here? We can have people going and building atomic bombs and stuff and causing all kinds of trouble because you have access to all that kind of stuff. See, you ever heard of Van Allen belt? Look about the Van Allen belt. Pretty sure it's between Jupiter and Mars. Right? You got the 3 inner planets. You got Venus. You got Mercury, Venus, and America. Excuse me. Mercury, Venus, and Earth. Those are and Mars. That's the 4 inner planets. You got 4. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars. I think the Van Allen belt is after Mars, between Mars and Jupiter, if I'm correct. But the Van Allen belt is like a lot of meteors. A lot of meteors. And it's a lot of them. It goes around, it's like it's belt because it goes all around that orbit between, the orbit like a planet between Jupiter and Mars. Now, why is that there? We did that there on purpose. Because we're traveling out in the universe with a thought. That's what made the galaxies and everything like they are. So it's have travel lanes. Now we talked about the computer we have that we need in order to navigate. So I'm not going to go into all that kind of detail. But if someone was coming back to the Earth at that speed, and it takes to get out there, if they hit the Earth with that speed, say the vehicle was the size of a Mack truck, just an SUV. The Earth, that kind of speed will crack the Earth open. Will crack it. But just that's too much kinetic force. So we put a Van Allen belt. So maybe I try to do that. Then here comes that belt, and that belt would tear them apart. All those meters and everything, just tear them apart, destroy them. It's protection. You think all these things just happen? No, we did all these things on purpose. And then we had the two major planets like Jupiter and Uranus and Neptune all together, because that has enough gravitational pull to divert anybody's path that's moving anyway. Just divert just a little bit. Not, even at that speed, it's not going to divert that much. Just enough. So let's get more direct to the point I'm trying to make here. It's a battle for the planet. Now, who's the enemy? Who's battling? Well, who owns the planet? We own the planet. Maker, owner, cream of the planet Earth, God, universe. Maker, owner, cream of the planet Earth. We're the owner of it. You didn't listen to Elijah Muhammad because the Farrakhan don't believe that kind of stuff. They say they don't believe it. We're the maker of it. We didn't create the Earth, we made it. Earth's always been here. Earth's been as long as we have. Earth's like our mother. You know, we've been here as long as Earth has been here. Two things have always been the universe. And there always will be here. But the Bible tells you the world without end. We have no birth record, no beginning or end. We've both been here at the same time. Forever. We'll always be forever. But we gave it form. It was a boiler. Super hot. It was like a core. It was the core of the greatest star ever. The mother of all stars. We gave it form. Cooled it off. It belongs to us. So if there's a battle for planet Earth, somebody's trying to take it from us. Well, when they brought us up here, that wasn't no accident. They knew what they was doing. The wise ones knew what they was doing. The other ones done. They was being lustful and everything else. Profit. Battle for the planet Earth. We got the devils. They're right in the middle of the battle. See? They took everything from us already. Knowledge of self. You know, one of them asked me one day, says, "What's your name?" You know, I told him, "I don't know." "You don't know?" I said, "No, I don't know, because you took it from me. Y'all took it from me. I don't know what my name is." "Where you from?" "I don't know that either. Y'all took that from me too." See, they look at me all strange. Yeah, but see, they couldn't handle that. And that's what I tell them. And I told myself from now, that's what I'm gonna tell them. They ask me what my name is, I'm gonna say, "I don't know." "Why you don't know?" "Well, y'all took it from me." See, I'm making it. See, we at war, brothers and sisters. It's not BS, not bullshit anymore. See, you want to talk nice? Oh man, the other day I said I dropped the F-bomb. I heard like people, "Hey man, you right?" No, wait a minute. Did you pay attention when I dropped the F-bomb? You listen to what I said afterwards? I was making a point. I don't just drop it out there. I was making a point. I said, if you don't like the way we talk, you should have brought us over here. Like the words we use, you should have brought us over here. That's what I was trying to make. Because they focused on what I was saying. I said, okay, you don't like what I'm saying? I had to use that word to give them the focus that way. So I said, you don't like what I'm saying, then why you bring us over here? You better pay attention. You don't just drop those words like that. But I don't care. It doesn't matter, because it's their language. So if those words are okay, then why you got them in there? If you're such good people, why you got the words in no language? But if you was angels, you wouldn't have those words in your language, would you? You had those words in Arabic, at least you didn't have them. Rather put something in now. The Quran doesn't have that kind of language, but you do. And you gave that language to us. Then tell us we can't use it? Hell no, I'm going to use it. I drop the F-bomb every time I want to. You understand? But like I said, I don't do it just how to do it because I can't control myself. I do it because I try to I'm making a point. They know what they was doing. They took everything from us. With all this plan to get rid of us. Then you got false Jews over here pretending to be us. And they get rich over it. It's all about us. All your nation be blessed. They're not blessed by false Israel, they're blessed by us. Because how did America get rich and powerful? Of our labor, of our creativity. When we talk about that creativity part, you don't believe that? I got a couple questions for you if you don't believe that one. And they got false Jews, they're getting rich, all the money they're getting because they're claiming they're us. They get all that support, financial support, military support, political support, and everything else, but they claim they're us. Then you got the Arabs, they got our land, our culture, our holy sites, our language. And they're getting rich off our resources. When you look at it clearly, brothers and sisters, it's clear. How they trying to get rich. They got rich off the jobs that they didn't want to give to you, they gave to them. That's how they got rich. They got rich off us too. And it's India, same thing. They get rich off the computer jobs that would have went to us, but they didn't want us to have them. And the creativity for those jobs came from us anyway. I guess I need to mention that because you're going to be like, oh man, we ain't creating nothing. Oh, really? Well, let me ask you one question. I'm not going to go into this a lot of detail. Let me ask you one question here. No matter how you come at this thing, right? You're going to say, well, evolution or Adam and Eve or, Elijah Muhammad's portrayal of Yaqub and 6,000, but still come at 6,000 year period. Even evolutionists say, well, there was no evidence of Europeans before 6,000 years. Anyway, you have a 6,000 year period. 6,000 years, this planet is pretty much a horse and buggy planet. But 6,000 years, 5,000 years, this was a horse and buggy planet. Horse and buggy planet. Chariots, swords. Then suddenly, 500 years ago, bam, you got all this industrial revolution, everything else. There was an agricultural age for 5,500 years. 5,500 years. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, 500 years ago, bam, they started the industrial age. And now you see all these things happening right here. And it only happened in one place. It's not happening all over the world. It only happened here in America. You can't tell me anything that was invented that's totally innovative in any other country on the planet. Nothing come out of China. China's duplicate everything they got from America. So it's called Britain. So it's called Russia. So it's called Germany. All of France, all of them. Oh no, they haven't come out of the internet. They haven't come with cars. They haven't come with planes. They haven't come with nuclear power. They haven't come with any of that stuff. It's all coming from here. 5 years ago. Why just here? There's white people all over the planet. In fact, in Germany, probably up to maybe about 50 years ago, it was almost all white people there. Yeah, it was all white people there during the time. Yet they no creativity, no innovation there. Not in France, not in those places. So why here? Why here? Only here. And when did it happen? When they brought our ass over here, and all of a sudden you got this big explosion, innovation, it went to the industrial age, and now it's the AI age, and what happened once we got over here. So you break that one down. You figure that one out. Figure that one out. I don't have to, like they'll say less. I'm not going into any details with that. There's a lot of stuff you just don't know, you don't understand. They don't want you to know. See? They gave you a little glimpse of it in Hidden Figures. Did you read that movie? Sisters were hardly educated. These white boys was like PhDs and masters and everything else. And the sisters had to show how to use their own mathematics. Not more to it than that. They showed in the movie, I tell you that. I knew about it. And they were status quo because everybody's battling for the plan. Now they fighting, but they fighting with each other because they battling for your creation, brothers and sisters, and you have no place in it, and you ain't prepared for anything. But you don't have to prepare, right? Because you are being prepared. Those of you that's going to make it, especially 144,000, because God's going to get you. It's already the plans. So we ain't worried about, and we not. Don't give that shit about what Pharaoh got about. You sinful and everything. That's bullshit. Because if you read the angel carefully, it says, bless those who keep their garments. That means us. Because all the other nations broke out of control of the Europeans except us. So we sell our garments. So they're responsible for whatever whatever we do under their control. So it's not on you. God is not coming to punish you, right? But he's only going to take those who's in the Lamb's Book of Life, because he's going to certify you pure gold or pure silver, because we don't want anything less. We don't want anything less than that. And you're going to do it to yourself. See, those that are left behind, you already left behind, did you read what Daniel said clearly? It said those who slept in the dust, those who were sleeping in the dust, then they rose after we was delivered. So it's not so much I'm just rejecting you, the fact that you reject yourself. Because you ain't going to step up. Because you're too dumb or too stupid to step up. It's more of that than me just certifying me. Some people, yeah, I'm definitely going to, right? But it says, remember, it says, they were still sleeping in dust. So you didn't wake up to the time. Because we telling you, constantly telling you, and we shouting everything else, the alarm going off and everything else, and you just sitting there like a deer caught in the lamp, in the headlights. Why? Because you mesmerized by this gravitational vortex. You're mesmerized by their magnetic pull. You're mesmerized by this false reality. And your thought pressure cannot overcome their thought pressure. That's what's happening. So you're in a dream world. You're in a belief matrix. You're mesmerized by this false religion. Because there's no reality to it. It's not true. You can't prove it. Like I said often, right? If they was realities, if they was true, how come you can't produce anything based on those principles that they espouse? You can't bring out a Buddhist car. You can't bring out a Christian plane. You can't do anything, bring anything into existence based on those principles. There's a Christian car, man, it works on the principles of Christianity. No, everything that you know and see, including yourself, is based on mathematics. DNA, you heard of it? Mathematics is the only true reality. It's not a religion, but we because in a sense, the way the world works, if you understand, we call it religion, but it's not a religion. But before 50,000 years ago, there wasn't any such thing as religion. It's reality. Bears don't have religion. Animals don't have religion. Cows don't have religion. Lions don't have religion. They do just fine because they're in sync with the universe, and so are we. But we are the universe. If that's too deep for you, then just live with the fact that we're in sync with the universe. But they do need it because they're out of sync with the universe. They were in sync for that brief period, 6,000 years. But now they're out of sync. And that means they got to go because the whole universe is against them. They don't understand. You don't understand, bro. This whole biological system is against them. They're at war with the system. They're at war with the biological system. And they're at war with themselves. But the point is that all of them, they want to take us down. But they want it for themselves too. They're all against us. They've been against us for forever, especially the last 50-some years since the Antichrist, 1948. Before 1948, China was a basket case, so was India. So it was the Sunnis. Now they become switching powerful off the oil reserves, or rich anyway. China's become powerful because they're very disciplined. They use they discipline their energy. And America's losing their power because they're not disciplined. They're losing discipline daily. Can't tell a man from a woman, and man can go to women's bathroom and man's bathroom and tampons and boys' bathroom, all this kind of men can get pregnant and all this. Because their minds are losing. They're losing their minds. They don't have enough energy. They're losing their minds, and the pressure is so great that when you confuse them, that shows they're overwhelmed. Their thoughts are crazy, but it makes sense to them. Their thoughts are crazy because the pressure overwhelming their minds. That's it, minds are pressure. If the external pressure is greater than the internal pressure, then your mind is being crushed. And that's it, mind is being crushed. That's why I talk like we're talking everything else. Because external pressure is greater. They're trying to maintain control. They're trying to maintain control. They're trying to maintain power, but they're losing it. They're trying to maintain it. And that in itself is, of course, a destruction. If you're trying to maintain something that can't be maintained, look all the energy you're using that you're wasting. In other words, here you are, and all you can live is 50 pounds, but you're trying to lift 100 pounds. Or you're gonna get a hernia, you're gonna get a break, you're gonna pull off some muscle and everything else. Because that's what's happening now. They can't control the world anymore. They're still trying to. That's why they fell in like places like like in Vietnam and Afghanistan and Korea. They got their ass kicked in Vietnam. They put a standstill in Korea, and they got their ass kicked in Afghanistan, right? By sheep herders, and in Vietnam by right stumpers. You don't understand it. It's right before your eyes. But you're so mesmerized you can't see it. And we only want those who can rise above it. We're going to escape the gravitational vortex. We're going to escape the magnetic attraction. See? You see him right now. It's a wonder. Look, you see it every day, man. I go to the gym, and 99.9% of all the Negroes walk in there got a white woman on their arm. Because I'm probably the only one that's not. That magnetic. They're not demons, but that magnetic pull. They can't break it. They can't break this gravitational vortex, right? This capitalism, like mortgage, and all that kind of stuff. American dream, capitalism, all that kind of stuff. They can't break that. Christianity is false reality, right? You can't see past that. So we're going to leave them high because we're not going to waste time trying to strengthen them once they get there. What's the point of that? They won't, most of them won't realize anyway. But they so mesmerized, they don't even know what hit them. And the tribulation, right? Okay, that's for the Levites and primarily for the Levites to give them a second opportunity because they failed. They're part of the reason why we have trouble right now. They failed in their process. They failed in their objective to prepare. As I said, they were prepared to wait for the messenger to come. They didn't. They got deceived by Farrakhan. He's a chief demon. Did I mention the demons? Oh, they really got a tough road to go. Because they want it too. But they want it with master. See, they're confused. Master don't want them. They want to identify with master. Master don't want them. It's that hurtful thing to be loved. Love someone that doesn't love you. They love master. Master don't love them. Master uses them. They're like a child that I wish you should have been aborted. They use them. But they don't want them. So there's going to be a demon war here. Within the next 12 months, there's going to be a demon war. It's going to last 5 months. They're destroying each other. That's the story of Samson. That's talking about in Mark, where it says the demons, right? They went to the swine. They didn't want to go with Jesus. They said, "No, I don't want to go with y'all. Don't make me lead the country." They didn't want to go. They want to stay here. That's what Pharaoh said. We ain't going nowhere. You're right. He's not going anywhere. You want to stay with the swine daddies. And then they got to fight in the rough cliff together. But swine daddies don't want them. We don't want them. They're daddy's children. They're the master's children. But they look like us. We don't want them because they got the master's nature. Master don't want it because he got our features. Right? They're going to be destroyed in the process because his master is going at it. It's going to be a civil war. It's not a race war because they're the same race. They're going to be a civil war like you can believe in America in the last 5 months. There's going to be race wars going on at the same time. I'm not going to elaborate all that. America will be in total insurrection. We're going to stand, brothers and sisters. Battle for the planet. We have to defeat the demons first. Because what they are, they're masters. Hammer. They're weapons of terror. Keep us divided and confused and hating each other. Keep us in fear. And you see those gangs in Chicago, those not people, those demons. Keep you in fear, keep you nervous, keep you upset. That's their purpose. Master used them for that. Macedonian either. They're going to be destroyed. But first we got to separate them out from us. That's what said Suleiman had to do. That was his first job. And then he bring down the devils. That's next. That's from Muhammad. He takes the devils down. Then you got falls. Well, they're already gone because they're going to be going in a few more days. They'll be going before the end of the year. Falls Israel. See? So you got those out the way. But then after the Europeans start finished tennis, so the part, then that's the rise of, remember, they made enemies. Then you got the rise of what? And in India, on death in Hades. Out for the planet. Then Lucifer, he's going to be with them. A name that you know, I'm not going to say it here. Who said you, most, right? Go ballistic. Oh, man, it can't be him because you love him. Well, you better read chapter 17 again because it says he will be the one, he'll be of the seven, but the eighth. He'll be eighth, but he are the seven. He's talking about a specific figure. It says all those that worship him and love him or whatever, they have no place in the Lamb's Book of Life. Most of you admire him. Farrakhan admired him. Help him get him elected. And you can't see him like that. You're not supposed to. You're supposed to see anything. You're supposed to see the demons. You didn't see the demons before I told you. You didn't see the devils before Elijah Muhammad told you. They was right in front of you. They was kicking your ass and burning you and staking and raping and everything else. 400, and you still didn't see them as you didn't see them. And you was blind to them. Think about that one. He came and told you they were devils. That's the devil. Then, oh, something you caught on. But then you still didn't know what the demon was until I told you. You don't know who Gog and Magog is until I told you. You don't know who the dragon is until I told you. You know what these people are. They're right in plain sight. That's why we got to get your mind back. Most of the people, they can't upload it. That's one of the reasons why they had it. Aaron, remember Aaron? After Moses left, he wanted to have people running around the desert for 40 some years. That was to burn off all the ones that, it tells you right there, to burn off all the ones that the minds were still, couldn't escape the gravitational vortex. Their minds were still in Egypt. It tells you right there. Didn't want them. Because this be trouble. It was too weak to make it into the, because he has to build, it's a special place. It's been 76 trillion years preparing it. Most of you are going to live off planet. It's beautiful. And all those plants, you got trees of plants, all of them, every one of them is habitable. Beautiful. We got stars, we got planets that's all made of all iron. Some planets made of all diamonds. Some planets made of all rubies. I mean, honestly, you have no idea. We want to build like these people build bricks and stuff. For bricks, kill me, it's like building with shit. No, we're gonna build with diamonds and gold and silver. It said the streets would be paved with gold. They weren't just talking. Land of overflow of milk and honey. We're gonna remove all that sand that was protecting it. It's the battle for the planet. You don't understand what this battle is for. Because in there, because whoever gets it, it's gonna be wealth beyond that you can't even imagine. Because this is nothing. Even the wealthiest person in here will be nothing compared to the lowest person hereafter. In my house, my father's house, are many mansions. Most of you didn't pay attention to that. All you were living in a mansion. Beautiful land. Like I said, many of you live off planet. Many of you gods are planets. That's what the state brother system, they try to take it all from you. They're trying to set you up and take it all from you. But the point is, they can't even take it from you. That's why I said battle planet, because they can get the planet Earth, but they can't get further down the solar system. Because it said we get to heaven strong gods. They can't get out there. They need that computer I told you about. They ain't gonna get that soft planet. They ain't gonna get anywhere near it. It's not even in the solar system. They ain't get anywhere near it. They need to navigate, and plus they have to build. They have to build the machines that would get, and they can't do that. They can't get that knowledge because knowledge, right, is horizontal. But wisdom is vertical. So therefore, horizontal is this way. See? That means they can only perfect what they have. They can't come up with anything new. That's why we went 5,500 years, right? Horse and buggy. Until they got us, then they can move up to another level, another level. And then start moving up with the industrial age and the AI age. See? But it was like this here for 500 years. That's vertical. That's horizontal, rather. But we like this. So we get wiser and wiser, more powerful and powerful. See? And so it just gets better and better and better. And you have so much energy, and then you be disciplined, you turn all your energy into power. Because you're already affecting the atmosphere, but you're also affecting the atoms. You have no idea the power you're going to have, brothers and sisters. See, they affect the atoms right here, right now. You said, how do they affect the atoms? Where do you think electricity comes from? It came from their mind. Their mind is affecting atoms. Don't you understand, brothers and sisters? I mean, what does it take? They're controlling atoms. They're controlling electrons because they had a mind to do it. But they're going to control this level because they can't go, as long as here they can go vertical, but they have to have us to do it. And that's why it says, let my people go, say, serve me. And they didn't want to do it because the secret is that we are the gold and silver that they was hoarding, right? Because we was the creative power, because they're technicians, they're extra technicians, but technician was of no value if he doesn't have a blueprint. It has somebody with some ideas. He has sat there, he can put it together once you give him the idea. We say we the be, they said it is, but without the it be, there's no it is. You understand, brothers and sisters? You have no idea what's at stake here. You're going to be so advanced. You're never going to get old. You're never going to sleep anymore. You have so much energy, you don't know what to do with it. They said you run and jump like calves. You have so much energy, so much mental power. You control atoms. They're going to control this level. We control even more level. We control atoms in a way they can't even think of. That's why Master Muhammad got these planes around it. They can't even come speak out. They can't come any idea what it means, what it does. Because he controls atoms to a level they can't understand. Their minds controlling atoms. And your mind can control them much greater than theirs is. Because you have embedded wisdom. It's in you, and it's my job to bring it out of you. It's already in you. I'm not giving you anything. I'm bringing out what's in you, but they don't have it. We could teach them, like you teach a dog for 10 trillion years, they're never going to be able to read anything. You can teach them forever, they're never going to be able to do it because it's not in them. You can't change an apple into an orange, but you have unlimited wisdom. So this is nothing compared to what we're going to have and what you're going into. And you live as long as you want. And don't forget about the idea. See, Elijah Muhammad says he's a messenger. He wasn't a god. He wasn't a scientist. His idea about you only have one life, that's wrong. Ladies said that, but they were saying it because it's talking about Europeans. It wasn't talking about us. Because the Bible tells you, right? It tells you right there in the Quran. They celebrate the Quran so much, right? So how you get life after death. It says, take 4 birds. Right? What's 4 birds? You have 2 sets of chromosomes from your mother and your father. You get 2 from your mother and 2 from your father, right? It says, train to incline to you, right? That means you study them so you understand them, so you control them. And then you call them, they come together, and they come to you flying. See, that's why we had things like arranged marriage, and we didn't force it, arranged marriage, and like that, because we was controlling those genes, the DNA, those genes was controlling them. So we put them together a certain way, so that way that be you again. So what happened is death to us, as I said, oh death, where's our victory? Oh grave, where's our victory? Oh death, where's our sting? Oh grave, where's our victory? Because there's no victory in death anymore. Because death was just like going to sleep, upgrade. But you live as long as you want. Somebody think, I want to live 10,000. No, you don't. Because we're growing, we're getting better and better and better. So here you are right here, and then 1,000 years from now, you 6 feet tall, everybody 10 feet tall. You want to be walking around a little runt. You want to upgrade. Plus you be out of step. Plus your brain has a limited amount of memory. You would probably remember who you are. You can upgrade. See? So, well, I'm gonna hit on this. I'm gonna let you go. Elijah Muhammad, he laid it out for you, but like the sister said, connect the dots. He says we all can tune in. See, that's what prayer comes from. We'll be ahead to tune in again. Right? That means we all connected, all our minds are connected. See, there won't be no sense of privacy like we have right now. I mean, nobody's going to look at your personal habits, your toilet habits, but everybody's going to know what everybody else knows because we all one body. It's like your body right now, a cell dies and it's replaced by a new cell. One cell dies, most of when you go to your fecal matter, most of it is dead cells, most of it. But check it out. Right? And so what happens is that you're replaced by a new cell. Identical. Same thing. See? So everybody knows, because we don't go to school anymore. We have to, because everybody's mind's connected. You want to know something, you just tune in to somebody that has that knowledge. It's something you can't imagine how it's going to be, bro. I said, no mind can imagine, no heart can imagine what this is going to be like. So everybody, so all your memories, you can have everybody else's memories, have yours. So when you reboot and you come back, next, what I was going to use, when you regenerate, use that word. We don't believe in artificial, what do they call that stuff? Reincarnation, all that kind of stuff, right? Okay. When you upgrade, all your knowledge and everything you remember, memories, it's like in a cloud. It's all over the place. Everybody knows you, and you know everybody else, right? So, hope you understand, brothers and sisters. That's what's at stake. They try to take it away from you. Now they can't produce that kind of kingdom we're talking about. They can't do it. Because like I said, they're horizontal. They can't move. But they're trying to do it in another way, electromagnetic way. That's trying to get implants, cyborg, all that stuff trying to do, because therefore, right, because now they can take your memory, put in a chip. They're trying to duplicate it that way, because they can't duplicate it in the biological universe. That's why they got to get rid of this biology, because this biological universe, reality we created, is against them, it's destroying them. That's why they're flirting with war with Russia right now, because we said that's insane, ain't it? Because they can't win with a nuclear war with Russia. They can't win with a nuclear war with North Korea. So the point is, that's why it says, it says, I'm leaving with this, brother. It says, if Master Muhammad had intervened, cut those days short, then no soul be left alive. But that's not a conventional war. That's nuclear war. They were going to destroy everything. And Master Muhammad stopped them. He got me. He got them before they got him. That's somebody's chapter in the sixth seal, right? That the figs fell before they was ready, because when they was planning to get rid of this biological system, and that's in process. And he was stopped before they was able to do it. Because they can't survive in this. They can't come with the kingdom. They come with a magnet. They think they come with this electromagnetic kingdom, cyborg, which is a mechanical body, right? Electronic mechanical body with a biological brain. They plan to go into their creation, destroy this creation. You understand, brothers and sisters? The battle for the planet Earth. And you don't know what's at stake. And many you're going to destroy because of lack of knowledge, or you're just too weak to overcome this system. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. We're going to leave it there. Okay, brothers and sisters. I'm going to leave it there. Remember the Holocaust. Assalamu alaikum.